I wouldn't be where I'm at or who I am without all those experiences. So, you know, tough road, but it has been worth it, you know.
With your film Evidence, when did piracy come into play?
So the first territory that the sales agent had landed for me was the UK territory. And so it came out on DVD in the UK, I think March 12th of 2012. And within like a few days, it was had already been pirated online, and then new sites were popping up daily, and because UK is an English-speaking territory, the movie's in English, and boom, there it is. And so it completely blew up the film in like a good and bad way. Bad way, I've never made $1 from Evidence. The good way is that it became, you know, and this was pre-social medias really, but it was very viral on the internet, and on IMDb it cranked up to like 100 and something, or wow, like 200. Just for a nobody with no record, that's very difficult to do. And because of some good reviews that we got through some horror sites and that kind of attention, it garnered the attention of like the studios, and I had Paramount and Universal and all these people kind of calling me at home and wanting to screen it, and screened it for them and everything. So so that's how it became pirated so quickly. It came out on DVD in the UK, and then days after was already ripped and uploaded online. And so that was a battle, that was a fight. And at one point, a friend of mine was working with this anti-piracy company, and I became a client of theirs, and so I saw all the numbers of IP addresses. You know, I saw all the data of like, right. I was just like, wow, this is, and even to this day, the film has a huge following of people, and is, you know, I mean, just on my channel alone, it's getting thousands of views a month and comments every week, you know. So it has an audience, and people, you know, you know, have enjoyed it. But it was a just big fumble on my end, you know what I mean? But like, I didn't know what I was doing, and didn't have anybody else to really guide me or rely on, you know. So I'm okay with all the mistakes.
How much it was just sort of something that was happening at that time? Mm-hmm. It happened to many filmmakers. Maybe their films didn't do so well, but they got pirated, for better or worse. How much do you feel that you had a hand in any of that?
I really don't feel, I don't think any. I think it was very much out of my control. Sure. That's what it felt like, and I was seeing. I was like, this is out of my control. I mean, I was 2 or 3 times a day. I could Google myself or Google the movie, and there would be like 8 new articles, and I just like, this is out of control. The problem, where I dropped the ball the most, is I had nothing else. I had no other scripts, stories developed. I had nothing else. I thought if I can just get into the arena, I'm good. And I'll quote this piece of advice that I received back then, and it was very much true, but I was getting meetings from like the top agencies and managers, and bringing me, you know, and I was meeting with one management company, and he was like, so what else do you got? You know, he's like, oh, Evidence is great, congratulations, that's all good. What else do you have? And I was like, well, nothing, but I write really quickly, I move fast, you know, we can do a sequel, whatever, this and that. And he said, let me tell you something. You're hot right now, and you have the attention, but that's gonna burn out quickly, and in 6 months' time, people are gonna forget who you are and everything. And it didn't even take 6 months. It was 3 or 4 months, and then the, you know, head executive at Paramount that I was conversing with, you know, on a weekly basis, all of a sudden would not respond to any of my emails or phone calls, and you know, and then just, that's what, you know, slow drip, that light just faded out, and you know, I kept trying to revitalize that film, because you know, and what I should have just done, and should, you know, is just can move on to the next, just continue to move forward into the next project and continue to develop projects. And so I learned, because that's what I'm doing now, but that's the biggest mistake I think I had back then.
Right. But the thing is, you didn't plan for this to happen. You didn't know. You were just doing this film.
The Aries in me was saying that I was going to crush it out of the gate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. Well, and then the receive. You know, what I mean, I was seeing it, and I was like, oh, I got this. You know what I mean? Like I belong in that sphere. You know.
Fascinating. Wow. Yeah. And you were working another job at the time, and then I mean, this had just been something you did. You said 4 weekends or so you shot it.
Yeah, days off and yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So it wasn't totally planned, and you didn't know that it would take the internet by storm.
No. It's funny, and yeah, there was there's 2 movies called Evidence that are both found footage horror movies, and the second one is a $10 million budget with like Rodda Mitchell and some guy from True Blood or whatever, and it came out 1 year after my film came out domestically, and one of the producers on that film I had met a year before and given him a screener copy of mine. So that was interesting to piece that together and discover that. You know, when that announcement, you know, Evidence came, I was like, you gotta be. And then I saw who was behind making it, and I was like, okay, well. But it is all, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at or who I am without all those experiences. So, you know, tough road, but it has been worth it, you know.
How do you look back at that time in your life now? Or is it a closed chapter?
I don't look back on it very often. I really don't. But Evidence is like, it won't die. I put out a video on my YouTube channel in March of 2020. It's kind of like I wanted to put, and this is before any COVID thing. I had been planning this video for like 8-9 months, and I filmed it in January. But I wanted to I was going to come back, and I was going to, you know, I built myself up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make another push and launch a new company. You know what I mean? Start fresh on everything, and I just wanted to put plant a flag in the ground of like, this is where I stand in terms of how I feel about the film industry, from this person who's been in LA for a very long time and, you know, worked in many different capacities and different levels of it. I wanted to come clean with Evidence. You know, I didn't want to try to, well, I made this movie. I wanted to say goodbye. I wanted to put Evidence to bed and say it is in my past. And actually in that video, I said I wasn't going to ever try to make a sequel or anything. I was just gonna, have moved on and moved, but, and I have, but the film is still just, you know, I can't deny the hundreds and thousands of comments that people have left on various sites. You know what I mean? These people very much enjoy it and very much, you know, and there's the ones that rag on it, but like for the people that truly enjoy it, like that means a lot to me, and I would like to repay them in some way, you know, in some form someday. So, yeah, that's the only time I'll think about it, is that the fanship that it kind of gained, you know, without me really even knowing or even seeing who these people are, you know. But it's there, it's out there.
Yeah, maybe you could start a free fan site in your quote spare time.
I'm hoping somebody else to do it. Yeah, I actually on that video I put the PDF for the sequel, for the script. I was like, here, the script's out there. Somebody else go and make it. You know what I mean? Like you have my permission. So that's kind of my dream, that somebody carries the Evidence legacy on. Somebody says, well, he said I could make it. I'm just going to go and make it. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Here is a complimentary question from our book Story Questions.